This is Hard Facts. 13 minutes gone past 4, and it's time for us to focus on a particular conversation that started. I wouldn't say it started last week, but it came to light last week, and we will be getting to understand the details. Now, last week we saw the alarm raised by a House of Reps member who, somehow has got a similar name with my guest today, Ikenga Umo, and he claimed that some group loyal to the FCC minister had gone to court to seek an order or a judgment. I can't remember now, but went to court to attempt to stop local government allocation from getting to the local government. Over the weekend, we saw a presser by Tony Okocha, who leads a faction of the APC in Rivers State, come out to say that the suit was instituted by him, and it is because at the local government level, proper steps have not been taken to institute a government. And so the matter is in court, and we want to get to understand the details, and we want to also talk on how this will affect the common man, most especially local government workers. I am Kalada Kurubatbo, and once again, welcome. But let's take a listen quickly to Tony Okocha before I introduce my guest.
We understand that, Kimbo, to watch them take our common patrimony. Local governments belong to all of us. The state belongs to all of us. So we have equal stake, we have equal rights. And so we have to go to court. I want to state here that it is APC, Rivers State, that went to court. And they should leave out former Minister Wike. When you have the penchant to blackmail, a champion, you say all manner of things. In spite of the fact that all they are saying are defeatists. What is Wike's business in this matter? What? The APC went to court. I deposed to the affidavit on behalf of my party. And we said this was not properly. And because it was not properly, please do not give allocation to them. I did. Is Wike a member of APC? No. So what is his business? It's just a deliberate attempt to blackmail a man.
All right, so you had Chief Tony Okocha there. So let's invite now on the show Ikenga Chibuike, who is the spokesperson for the APC in River State led by Tony Okocha. You're welcome on the show. Can you hear me clearly, please?
Thank you very much, Kalada. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, I should start by appreciating your presence. I do understand that you have got a busy schedule and you are in motion as we speak. But to my first question, why did the APC go to court to stop allocations? Because Rivers people are beginning to think the APC is attempting to stall development. Now, I listened to Tony Okocha and he said APC went to court, and that's why I'm asking the question, why did APC go to court?
Everything that Chief Tony Okocha espoused in that press conference are facts, indisputable facts. I'll be surprised, and it will be shocking to me if Kalada and Info 92.3 will feign ignorance as to the fact that the APC raised alarm long time ago that the River State government and the River State Independent Electoral Commission have plans to excluding APC from participating at the planned local government election. That the first stakeholders engagement meeting, APC was completed. And
sorry, the line was unstable for a bit. You said APC was what, completely ignored? Is that what you said?
APC was completely excluded.
Okay.
From the first stakeholders engagement. Are you on?
I can hear you.
Now, following from that, you are also aware, we have canvassed this enormously in the media, that the River State commissions were not following the laid down rules and regulations as required by defined in the Local Government Law 2018 and the Electoral Act in the conduct or planned conduct of the local government. And that if they fail to comply with the laid down rules and regulations, like I quoted the 2018 local government law and the Electoral Act, that we are going to go to court. And indeed, we went to court to raise questions. All the activity leading up to the proposed local government elections, the River State government and the River State Independent Electoral Commission comply with the procedures required for conduct of elections that will be adjudged fair, free, and credible. And the court stood us that they have run foul of the laws, and therefore the local government election should be stalled. And they did stall it. They went further in that judgment to say that the police and any other security agency should not provide security for the proposed local government. The judgment also did say that INEC should not release the voters register. And the judgment also said that RISIEC, the River State Independent Electoral Commission, should not use any part or whole of that register for any election.
Okay, let me comment.
But what they did,
before we
like
get,
you are aware,
before we get
like
to,
you are aware,
before we get
sorry,
to,
what they did was to ignore that court judgment with impunity and went ahead with their so-called election.
Okay. Now, I wanted to ask, now some would say, okay, yes, the court did mention INEC not to give the register. Yes, the court did tell the police not to participate in that election. But there is nowhere that the court said the election should not hold because the court does not have jurisdiction. Some lawyers have argued in that stead, even though, I've seen some part of that judgment that seemingly looks like it. And when you ask them, they will tell you and interpret it like, the court did not outrightly say. Even the governor did mention that the court did not outrightly say that RISEC should not conduct the election.
Okay, thank you, Kalada. The lawyers and then the governor are not the court of appeal. They are not the superior court that ought to interpret the decision of the court. Now, let me tell you, go to that judgment and read item 7. Do you have the judgment?
I've seen item 7. That's what I was referring to not too long ago.
Read the item 7 to the listening public. Read the item 7 to the listening public. Because item 7 stopped River State Independent Electoral Commission from conducting the election. Read it to the listening public.
I will read it, but just go ahead with your thoughts.
You said that the court did not stop River State Independent Electoral Commission.
I said it interpreted item 7 as not stopping the...
Who interpreted?
Lawyers, like I said, lawyers have interpreted.
Who are lawyers? Are they the court of appeal? Are they the superior court that should interpret a judgment of court? Those are their personal sentiments and emotions that are neither here nor there. They should go to the court to try to appeal the judgment. And then if I sit in my bedroom and they say that the decision of the court did not do this and did not, who told me that I have the power to do so? The governor does not have power to interpret the decision of the court. Neither does any lawyer, so-called, has the power to interpret a decision of court. It is only the superior court that has the powers to interpret it, either upholding the judgment or setting it aside.
Okay. Now, so you are now saying that that's the reason. Can you hear me?
I'm listening to you.
Okay, so you are now saying that's the reason why the APC went back to the court. Is it that it's a follow-up of the court's earlier decision, saying the election should not hold?
APC is asking for the enforcement of the court judgment. The enforcement of the court judgment that said no election should be held until such a time River State Independent Electoral Commission have complied with the laid down procedures for the local government election. So if they now went with impunity and sidestepped the court judgment to go ahead with impunity and say nothing will happen. So we have continued to ask that you cannot place something on nothing and expect it to stand. Since there was no local government election, they are in breach of the decision of the Supreme Court that the local government election be held. So if the local government election has not been held, what we have in Rivers State is akin to caretaker committee, which is ultra-virus and an aberration.
Okay. But some yet again that is the 87 question not going too far. Let's go with your argument and say that the process was illegal. Shouldn't the courts be more pronounced? That leaders instead of saying for occasions to resolve, as it's not a government offer, the politicians that offer, but it's the political advocates workers there.
We are not systems. The responsibility of courts is to judgment orders and decisions are made. Because if they are unable to do so, the judgment stars and decisions will be like a mere piece of paper.
Okay, we have a commercial. Please just stay on, please.
When God
I still have Ikenga Chibuike, who is the spokesperson of the APC, led by Tony Okocha, that faction, and he's here with me on the show. And we're talking about the attempt to stop local government allocations, as we've seen on several media platforms. Okay, welcome back on the show. It's good to have you, Mr. Ikenga Chibuike.
Yeah, thank you, Kalada, for having me.
All right, so before the break, you were telling us that what is in Rivers State is akin to a caretaker committee, and it is against the law. And I was trying to ask you how, your party intends to pacify Rivers people who are working for the local government, because they are not politicians, they are civil servants, they are not part of the political imbroglio. How does your party intend to pacify, because these people would see you as, an enemy of some sorts?
Well, that's your view, and that's your personal opinion, and you're entitled to it. But quickly,
it's a question. It's a question. But go ahead.
Okay. So let me correct an impression. Firstly, a caretaker committee under Chief Tony Okocha and a few of us is not factional. It's not a faction. Are the legally recognized and constituted caretaker committee of the party and the only recognized nationally. Now, you will recall that there's a Supreme Court judgment which had barred courts from interfering with the internal affairs of political parties. And that judgment is where our national leadership relied upon to take their decisions to institute a more organized caretaker committee that will midwife our Congress. I'm sure you're aware that our Congress starts on the 16th, 23rd, and the 30th of this November to usher in properly elected executive. So now, first, if you commit a crime, you should be held responsible. Another person commits another crime, should be held responsible. You cannot say that Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, headed by Justice Enebeli, who knows what the judgment of the court is about, that stopped the local government election, went ahead with impunity to conduct an illegal election. And you expect that because he has run foul of the law, we should fold our hands and allow him and his team to get away with it. No, they will not benefit from their own stupidity, quote and unquote. So what will happen is that they have to face the full wrath of the law. And when decisions are taken, proper decisions are taken, usually those who are against the law suffer. But in the case of Rivers workers who are local government staff, these staffers of the local government will
Hello, are you there?
have their money. Their money will come at the appropriate time and they will receive their pay. So the blame should go to the Rivers State government and the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission that refused to obey the instructions that the due process of law should be followed. So if you now say, because you are owing me, you don't want to pass through the proper channels of payment, you go and commit robbery and take the money to come and pay me, it then means that you will face the full wrath of the law as an armed robber and be jailed. So it is Rivers State government and Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission that are creating the crisis for the workers of the local government because they refused to adhere to laid down procedures, which was also validated by the court judgment.
Now, first of all, I'm not a lawyer, so just reacting to what you started with, I'm not a lawyer. I mean, you've made reference to a Supreme Court judgment. The Emeka Beke faction would make reference to a state high court judgment. So you would try to understand where I'm coming from when I interpret it the way I do. Secondly, you've said the Rivers State workers at the local government level would have to understand the situation of things. So can you tell us what really transpired in court? Because we are having different reports. Some say it is an ex parte order that you're seeking, and you're seeking an ex parte order to stop the allocations from coming. Some others say it is an accelerated hearing of some sort. So which is it? And what is the APC led by Tony Okocha asking for or asking from the court? Can you enlighten us, please?
What we are asking for a party is for the court to enforce compliance to its judgment. And the judgment that any election that took place outside the decision of the court was null and void. And therefore, they must face the consequences of disobedience to that court judgment. And that their decision did not change the status quo. What it did was to continue to elongate the caretaker committee, which is an aberration and had been instituted by the Rivers State government. And because they have done so, they will withhold the local government allocation pending when the proper election is done. So when that is done, then we now look at the issue of worker salary. We now know how to negotiate with the government. Maybe they will sever that of the worker salaries and pay them, while the other allocation for development will be kept until such a time local government elections are conducted properly.
Now, I think I was listening to the governor about 2 weeks ago. The governor said, see, the reason why, the whole process was accelerated was basically because there was a deadline before the implementation of the Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court has ruled for local government autonomy, and states that have caretaker committees would not receive allocation. And so the accelerated process for local government election was as a result of trying to meet up with that deadline. Could that have been a good enough reason because you are arguing that due process was not followed. Tony Okocha is also arguing that due process was not followed. Could due process have been followed given the short time frame that was given, even though there are now reports by the Attorney General that no such deadline was given? What are your thoughts, basically?
Okay, firstly, assuming let's assume that a deadline was given. The deadline given by Supreme Court, let's agree that the deadline given by Supreme Court, did they ask you to unconstitutionally, to illegally put people in government at local level? The answer is no. If Supreme Court said you must do an election within 3 months or 90 days, you must comply with the laws, extant laws that govern the proper organization, proper coordination, and proper conduct of the election, so that you will be free, fair, and credible. And you will not say because of time that you will not obey the legal position for election to be conducted. That means, if you agree on that, that means that there was no even basis of telling us that you are doing it. You should have just continued to announce names that, like they did, that these people have won and won and won, and that's all. So what are we saying? We are saying that Supreme Court, having said that they must do so or face seizure of the allocation, the Supreme Court did not say that they should sidestep or they should ignore the laid down procedures, laws that govern local government election and administration.
All right, let's take some calls, please, if you would permit. Let's listen to some of the thoughts of those who are listening to our conversation. 08179230002 is the number. 08179230002, 08179230003, 08179230007. We have WhatsApp for WhatsApp messages, 0809030616. What are your thoughts? What do you make of the move by the APC, to stop the allocation from getting to the local government? Now, the argument is it is an illegal process that has given birth to illegal administrations at the local government areas. So at this point, the courts will have to enforce its judgment. Do you agree with that argument? I'd like to hear from you. But while I'm waiting for the call screener to screen the calls, I would quickly ask my guest, Mr. Ikenga Chibuike, what do you make of the violence that characterized some local government secretariats, just immediately after that election? Because now there is the Commission of Inquiry going on and some people have been summoned. But I'd like to get your thoughts, basically. What do you think, or what do you make of the whole process?
Okay. As a person and as a party, I abhor, and our party abhors violence. And we do not support it in any form. But what we are against is the fact that you are aware, and the state is aware, that the First State House Assembly was blown down, dynamited, and destroyed. There was no inquiry as to what transpired. You are also aware that the APC Secretariat on 265B Aba Road was also dynamited. The night preceding or the early hours of their so-called election day, they did not include it in inquiry. And then there was also violence across the state in local governments. And now they singled that out to try to do so, to set up an inquiry. That's to say that they are selective. The government is selective. Government ought to have taken all of them together and then try to inquire what transpired, what happened, how do we go about it, and those who are found culpable should face the full wrath of the law. So we do not support selective inquiry. We want it to come in total. Let everybody and all those who were involved in all this dastardly act face the full wrath of the law.
All right. Let's go. Let's now go to the phone lines now properly. 08179230002, 08179230003, and 08179230007. All right, I'm taking a call myself. 92.3 Nigeria Info. What's your name? Where are you calling in from? Hello, what's your name?
Hello.
Yeah.
My name is Susie. I'm calling from Rema community.
All right, Susie from Rema.
Honorable Ikenga. Yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
The Honorable has spoken very well in this matter. This is what we said. This morning, I think it was good that actually give that parable that you first have to separate the quarrel before you separate the fight. Now, River State government, in that same chant, is beginning to even blackmail the emotions of River State civil service workers from the local government. And I love the way Honorable Ikenga adumbrated on it by letting people know that the intention is not to starve or alienate local government workers from paying their salary. Let that record be first straight. But the issue here that leads to this is that there is a contradiction, and the court is a place of remedy. Now you said after the election that whoever that is contented should go to court. Now somebody has gone to court, challenging your actions and your inaction, and you are turning to blackmail even the court and even the judges. For me, I want to say that this whole conflict and crisis started when the governor of Rivers State flipped up his eyes from the rules and regulations. Election has processes, and the processes are not, the requirements and the processes were not met by Rivers State government. You went and conduct election that nothing will happen. Today, the case has gone to court, and you are coming back again to complain and cry and sue and calling people names and all of that. For me, I want to say that let that order be obtained, and let the local government mention and set emotions, set the River State people emotions and all of that. Then who will tell you that conflict or crisis or whatever, it's not only shooting guns and everything, but even the words that you can use on the 4th of October actually set River State on fire before that.
Okay, that's an allegation on your part. But let's come back to you. A quick question, please, so I can go back to the phone lines. Did the court give any order or judgment to the effect, the petitions you made before the court? Did the court give any order as the court said, okay, yes, let the allocations be stopped? What happened? Can you briefly tell us, please?
The court is looking at our petition, looking at our application, looking at our request, and once the decision is made that way, you will be aware of it.
Okay. Because he said the order should be sustained, and so I wanted a clarification on that. But thank you very much for that.
My understanding of the order he's talking about is that the judgment that the election did not hold be sustained. Whatever enforcement that will ensure that, that's what he's saying.
Oh, okay. All right, then. Now let's go back to the phone lines. 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Canada, my brother. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to my authentic spokesman, Ikenga. God bless you.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
All
right, Give from Yenagua, welcome.
Yes, thank you, Canada. You must separate quarrel before you separate fight. Susie has said it, that Gift stated it clearly. I have been telling anyone who cares to listen. See, consequences will follow. If you don't want to obey the rule of law, I said it is not the rule of might. Whether you're a president, you're a governor, or you're a broadcaster, or that is on-air personality, as long as you run foul of the law must catch up with you. This is what is happening in the state. I remember our father, OCJ Okosha, talked about that item 7. I will plead with you so that those ones who normally argue, just read that thing out to the public so that everybody will rest for once. As far as I'm concerned, Chief Tony Okosha, God bless you for standing up, not to be a psychophant, always standing for the right things. No matter how people are trying to shout on top of their voice, they said empty drum makes the loudest noise. Let me rest my case here.
All right, thank you, Gifts. Thank you, Gifts. Moving on now, 92.3. Miss that one, please, to call back if you can. 92.3 Nigeria Info, your name, your location.
Hello, Canada, good evening.
Yeah, greetings to you. Welcome.
My name is Mike from Rumaholo.
Mike from Rumaholo.
Canada, see, I'm really disturbed about how this is going about this whole thing. Why can't they allow River State to rest, for goodness sake? What is the problem? I don't know. If you talk about obeying the court judgment are talking about, what about the case that Wike refused to obey when he was asked to pay this school at US, this school
demonstration schools. They
say he should pay. Has he paid them up to now? Who is it?
But that case was appealed, by the way.
Please, this is respect himself and the culture which he other than see.
Now, so can I come in now? That case. Okay. Anyways, you dropped the call, so thank you very much. Nonetheless, I've got Felix from Gokana. Felix, welcome. What is on your mind, please?
Gokana.
Yeah, Felix from Gokana, welcome. Let's get your thoughts, please.
Yes, thank you. Yes, good evening.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. Go ahead. We want to hear your thoughts now, please.
Yes, it is part of unfortunate that some individuals see resources as a private enterprise. It is this same culture that told people that RITEC was set for local government elections in January this year. Why is it? Because Senator does not have access to write results in government house, as you earlier said. That's the reason why it's getting to in university.
Of course, you know what the reasons are. Felix, let's stay with the matter. You know what the reasons you have stated, and that's what we're looking at. Do you think their arguments hold water? Let's not deviate, please. Thank you.
No, Sarah, that's nothing that they can say that will convince River people.
Okay.
And few of them who are River State is exposed. That recently I was appointed by the former governor for the sharing of and they were all preparing for elections. I was forcing the governor to conduct elections. Only to discover that since how did not that time they wanted to do it, they are now saying that everything was not done apparently. So they cannot deceive Rivers people.
All right then. All right, thank you, Felix. Your line is unstable and not very clear, but let's take a listen to Braid, who's calling somewhere who's calling from somewhere in Irebe. Braid, welcome.
Irebe.
Yes, I can hear you, Braid. Go ahead.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. I'm very hungry with these people. I don't know what these people want from this state. Tony Okocha and his group are wicked. They should leave this state alone. We are tired of their problem every day on radio, Wiki and Tony Okocha. What is the problem? What is wrong with them?
All right.
They went to court to stop local government allocation. These are the enemies of the state. Them themselves, they are the enemies of the state. They should know that money that you are getting there in that studio should know that they are the enemies of River State. What is the problem with them?
All right. Thank you, Braid. Braid, I've got to go. Now, let's come back to you, Ikenga, Chibuike. Now, you've had some of the callers, and when I said some people would think you're the enemy of the state, you thought I was, trying to give a personal opinion or I was on an attack. But you've listened to some Rivers people. Some are for the courts to do what is right in your own argument. Some are saying that you're not allowing development get to this to the grassroots. What's your response to the callers?
Okay, thank you. Quickly, we are a nation of laws and a state of laws. We must do things according to prescriptions of the Constitution, which is a ground norm, and any other laws that exist to guide our interactions, because conflicts will certainly arise, like it is in this case. Now, those who refuse to obey court judgments are the real enemies of the state.
Interesting.
This thing is not about emotions. This is about due process, because we aren't going back to Hobbesian state of nature. If you do not allow laws, if you do not obey laws, if they are not implemented, they are not enforced, we go back to a state of nature where might is power. Anybody who is strong enough can destroy the other person. But our excesses as humans are curtailed by the existence of laws. And in obedience to those laws, we have a smooth society that development thrives. So in the case of Rivers State, all I will advise is that we must be guided by the provisions of the Constitution and any other law for that matter.
Right.
For a smooth organization of our society, that's the way to go.
All right.
As people who are exposed.
Okay, so let's take Tumbia Bo's call. He's calling from Tumbia. Welcome. Let's get your thoughts, please.
Thank you very much, Kalada.
All right.
Okay. I want to ask you guys the question. I don't know because since he is saying what the governor did, that like we didn't follow the procedure.
Not the governor now, not RESEC. Let's say it as it is. RESEC didn't follow.
Thank you. RESEC didn't follow procedure. I want him to be specific because of all what he's saying, he's not saying they didn't follow the right procedure. What is the? I want him to be specific. What are those things they didn't follow? What are those proceedings that they didn't follow that made them to go to court to stop the allocation of the River State of. And secondly, he corrected you on when you were referring to Tony Okocha as, I don't know, that Tony Okocha is the authentic APC chairman. We all know that there's a court order that bars Tony Okocha from hiring himself as the APC chairman, and has not been challenged. They have not vacated that order.
So Tumbiabo, like I told him, I'm going to say the same. Tumbiabo, listen. Like I told him, I'm going to tell you the same thing. You're not a lawyer, neither am I. One side is saying, oh, they've got a court judgment that backs them. The other side is saying they've got a court judgment that backs them. I'm going to leave it for the courts. I'm not going to go into that argument today. So let's focus on the first question you've asked, and you've asked that what really is their argument when they say that the process was legal? All right, let's have him answer that question. So over to you, Mr. Ikenga Chibuike. Someone is asking a question. Why are you people saying it is an illegal process? What is illegal about the process?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure that the man who is asking the question will be patient enough to listen to a couple of things I'll say quickly. Our law in Nigeria, Electoral Act, abhors exclusion. Once you do not give a citizen of Nigeria or a political party in Nigeria an opportunity to be part of the processes that will be leading to an election, that's exclusion, lawful exclusion, and that's enough to void the election. Is that correct? 2, there are procedures required in elections, particularly for 2018 local government law and others. You must give a minimum notice of 90 days information before you start the process. And then again, we are aware that for RESEC to do some of the things they ought to do, they must abide by some of these laws and do request also to Independent National Electoral Commission to ask for the voters register, which Independent National Electoral Commission is a custodian. So if you have written and you didn't receive, and then you went and concocted any list anywhere, it's an aberration. It will not stand.
But they argue they received. They argue that they received way before, the judgment came out. They said about a year ago they had received the register from INEC, and they've got evidence to that effect.
And what did INEC say?
Of course, there is the back and the forth, but they are insisting that they have received.
No, said the two positions.
No, INEC said they haven't given, and yet I'm saying that RESEC says they have evidence to that effect. That's what I'm saying. That's the argument.
So who resolves the conflict? Of
course, it's the court.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll go for another commercial. When we come back, I would like to get your, final thoughts on these very conversation and what you think is the way forward. So please do stay on the line. I'll be right back.
Thank you. I'm here.